What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Patsa podcast. Before we get started, make sure you hit the like, subscribe button, all that good stuff, share, follow, whatever button is available, make sure you press it. And also, we have some new stickers. We have up the sticker game. So if you guys want a sticker, reach out to me and we will shoot you one in the mail. Just hit me up on Instagram, hit me with a DM, Patsa_podcast, and we'll ship out a sticker to you. We are back this week without Vince. Vince must have had a little too much Chianti last night. It is a little early here on the East Coast, so I decided to get up and get it done and out of the way this week and give you guys a little bit of a reaction. It's going to be a quick reaction, but after failing midweek in the Champions League 3-1 against Bodo up in Norway, Inter had to travel probably to one of the more difficult places to travel in Serie A, just location-wise. You could maybe make the argument, maybe Cagliari with Sardinia and whatnot, but Lecce being all the way at the bottom of Italy, it's a long travel for these guys, especially coming on the back of going all the way above the Arctic Circle in Norway to face Bodo midweek. Coming off the back as well of Lautaro being out, the man who usually capitalizes and carries us in matches like this against lesser competition. So this was a tricky match. A lot of Inter people that I was seeing online were concerned that this could be a trap match and a match that Inter slips up and loses points. Luckily, we go down to the south of Italy and put on a professional performance, get the job done, and worry about the performance later. Just get the 3 points and escape out of there. And that's what the guys did. And we managed to win this match despite not playing well. But at this point in the season, where all the fixtures are adding up, Milan dropping points against Como midweek, who cares what the performance is? The only thing that matters is 3 points. So Kivu going into this match after, like I said, midweek against Bodo and the injured Lautaro was forced to rotate a little bit. We start with Jan Sommer in goal again. And speaking of Jan Sommer, before we get into this match, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the error or the blunder or whatever you want to call it midweek on that second goal for Bodo. It was a unmistakable error from Jan Sommer, and it was something that last year he probably would have saved. And I don't want people to think that I'm a Jan Sommer defender. I'm just realistic at this point with Josep Martinez. He's made stops, but there's never been a performance in my eyes that has catapulted him over Jan Sommer. You know, the Bologna match, he made that good save at the ending on Fabian, saved a couple of penalties. But to be a keeper for Inter in modern football, distribution's important as well, and he's never convinced on that front. And Kivu's even said in the media, you know, that goal that or the error that Jan Sommer against Pisa made, where he kicked the ball in between Zielinski or I don't remember who the other midfielder, maybe Mkhitaryan, and it was a blunder that led to a goal for Pisa. But Kivu has mentioned, and he mentioned after that match that he asks his keepers to do a lot with the ball at their feet. And I think that's a big reason why we haven't seen Jan Sommer be usurped by Joseph Martinez, because Jan Sommer's more sure with his feet. And like I said, Martinez really hasn't given us a performance that has catapulted him. He's given us good performances, but nothing that has made him catapult over Jan Sommer. And we just got to be realistic, guys. With how the market is inflated, Inter's budget, we aren't going to be able to afford keepers on the quality of Julio Cesar, Francesco Toro, Walter Zenga, Pariuca, Handanovic, these keepers that we have had for 30, 35 years. Inter is traditionally a squad that has one of the best, if not the best, keeper in Serie A. And with Jan Sommer regressing, Joseph Martinez not being that guy, and with the way the market is, we can't go out and afford a Courtois or a Donnarumma or an Oblak. These players, these keepers, Alisson, we can't afford them. So the goalkeeper history that we have and the shot stoppers that we have had in the past, it's not going to happen more than likely for Inter moving forward until we get financially on the right path. So Jan Sommer, I mean, as bad as it sucks to say, that is kind of our cap right now, as far as ability wise and whatnot in that position at goalkeeper. So Kivu, getting back to the game, Kivu trusts Jan Sommer in goal. Backline of Jan Bisek, Stefan de Vrij, and Bastoni. So it makes the change. Akanji's out, Acerbi's out for midweek, and brings in de Vrij and Bisek. Luis Enrique comes back in at right wing back in place of Darmian midweek. Fratesi gets the start in front of who got it midweek. We could say Barella. Zielinski comes back into the fold in place of maybe Mkhitaryan, we could say, and Sucic retains with DiMarco coming back to start two. Thuram and Esposito. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 changes midweek going to Lecce. It was always going to be a tough match. 6 changes. We knew what it was going to be. And we come away with all 3 points, win the match 2-0. It was a very boring match. The performance wasn't great. There wasn't a lot that went on. Inter gets a goal in the second half from DiMarco on a beautiful run from Thuram and cross through that gets called offsides. After last week, with the claims of everybody saying Marotta League after Bastoni and Kalulu, it's kind of a joke when you see the replay. Thuram, it looked almost made up, the amount of the shoulder that they put on there for the semi-automated offsides to rule that goal off. So had to throw that in there as a thing because Marotta League, if that's Marotta League, and it was 0-0 at this point, we would have been awarded that goal. It was that one with Loriente a couple of weeks ago against Sassuolo. That was tight, but it was the toe. Like you could see the toe. This one, because if it's below here, you can't score with this part of your arm and below. So it's not offsides if that part is offsides because you can't score with it. And they drew the line just right to where you can score with the ball on your arm. So kind of a joke there, in my opinion. But we answer back and ultimately get 2 goals off of set pieces, which when you're not playing well, if we're being honest, we didn't play that great of a match. I think there were moments as well where Lecce, were attacking. They never really threatened us, but maybe the game was more balanced, I would say, in certain areas, in certain parts of the match than we're used to seeing against a squad like Lecce. And the team was struggling. So sometimes when that happens, you have to rely on set piece goals. And we get the opener from the freaking Armenian mozzarella merchant, Henrik Mkhitaryan. Guy is a bum. And the fact that he scored the goal that ultimately you could say is the winner, it just pisses me off so much because he literally did nothing else. He'd given the ball away 4 or 5 times before that. He gave it away a couple times after. It wasn't a great shot. He had a couple terrible shots before that too. But we can't complain. I mean, he got the goal that ultimately seals us the 3 points. So hats off to Mkhitaryan, came on as a sub. Christian Kivu got the subs right because the second goal we score from Manuel Akanji, again, he comes on as a sub and gets a goal off a set piece. So Kivu made his subs, impacted the match. I thought Andy Doof as well. He came on for Luis Enrique. He looked really lively and gave us that spark going forward because he came on when it was 0-0. And Anjan Boni, all the subs that he brought on, Christian Kivu, I thought Boni was an upgrade over Thuram. And yes, we get the 3 points and escape from Lecce. No injuries. Akanji, Zielinski, the guys that, we were worried maybe was joining Lautaro after the match, and Bodo on the injury table. These guys get minutes, Zielinski a full 90, and Akanji comes in and scores. And they're not hurt. We escape with no injuries. So that's the big thing that we can take away from this match. 3 points, no injuries. I would say man of the match, in my opinion, Pio Esposito. He was all over the place, hold up, really good deliveries, battling in there with Thiago Gabriel from Lecce. I thought it was a very mature performance from Pio. well beyond what we would see normally from a 19, 20-year-old player on the day. That flop of the match. Sucic, unfortunately, didn't really get into the match and didn't have a great game. DiMarco, he also gets an assist to add to his tally. I think they said he's got 15 now, one away from the Serie A record of Papu Gomez. And yeah, now we have, after this match, this is going to be a short one. There's not much to say on this match other than, like I've said 3 or 4 times already, we got the 3 points. We move on to Bodo. And what I want to say about Bodo is I've heard a lot of people say, and Vince has said it in our group chat, and a couple of the other guys in the group chat has said it, that, we don't need to focus on the Champions League. We need to just give it up, and that rhetoric along those lines. And Vince, don't take this as I'm calling you out. I'm just using you as an example. You're not the only person saying this. But what I would say is, as a player, these players, they don't have this mentality, guys. They're going out on Tuesday against Bodo to win the match and overtake the tie and progress. Their mentality is not, oh man, we should really sacrifice this so we can maybe win Coppa Italia and the scudetto. If these guys have that mentality, it's a disgrace, because these guys need to go every game in and game out, as professionals, and do their job. And their job is to bring trophies back to Inter. Doesn't matter what the competition is. Last year we went for everything and we came away with 0 titoli. That's realistically, these guys are going to go for everything again. It's not the mentality of these players, of this manager Kivu, of this club, to do something like that, to forsake. The Supercopa, that's a different competition. That's a Mickey Mouse trophy. It doesn't matter. The Champions League, Coppa Italia, Scudetto, those matter. And these guys, if on Tuesday they go out there and we see that mentality, we're going to get onto these guys, because that mentality can spew over into the league, into the Coppa Italia, the complacency. These guys are going to go out there and give it their best and try and overtake the tie. And we as Inter supporters have to be on board with that. We, as a big club, we're not Napoli under Conte. We are a big club, the biggest club in Italy, the biggest club in the world, in my opinion. I know Real Madrid, Manchester United, all these other, that's just my bias. That's me and my fandom and how much I love and support Inter. I believe we are the biggest club in the world. I know that's not realistic, but that's just what I believe. And we can't just bow out against Bodo in the Champions League. We should, every year, year in and year out, no matter what, even if we do come away with 0 titoli at the end of the season, these guys have to fight for every trophy, because we are on that level. So I don't want to hear that mentality of, oh, I just really wish we should forsake and just focus on the league, because that's not the mentality of these players. Just get that out of your head as a fan. If we go and win 3-0 on Tuesday, are people going to be upset because we went for it and are progressing in the Champions League? That's not the mentality we should have. So I'm going to leave it there, and that's all I want to say. I do think we can on Tuesday overtake the title, or overtake the tie. I think we could win in regular time 3-0, 4-1, whatever it is. I think if we're being realistic, I think it'll be a tight, cagey affair. Bodo will sit back, and we struggle to unlock teams like this whenever they sit back. But if they play into our hands and play open and expansive, and we can hit them with some holes, I very well think we can overturn the tie, remontada, like the Barcelona PSG from 2016, 2017, and move on. So we need to get on board with that, and that should be the expectation for us as fans for this match. So bring on Bodo. Milan, the game today against Parma hasn't kicked off. So Forza Parma. If you're watching, I found this. I was actually looking through my closet for jerseys, and I found this. Forgot I had it. Manchester City kit. Mika Richards, if you can see. Mika Richards. I've had this jersey since he burst on the scene This is an old Man City. I think this is like 2013, 2014. I'm wearing it, so I hope that Arsenal bottle the league. Manchester City got the win yesterday, and let's hope that the Spurs do something for against Arsenal, because it would be the greatest social media moment in history if Arsenal bottle the league. So a little different. You guys know how I feel about the English Super League. I'm not a fan, but I would be a fan to see Arsenal bottle the league. So come on, Man City. I hate Man City too, but I'm pulling for you. I hate Arsenal that much more. Um, yeah, that's all we're going to talk about this week. We got Bodo midweek and come away from this with all 3 points. So it's a little disjointed. Like I said, it's early here on the East Coast. I just finished my coffee, so this isn't the normal episode, and we're keeping it short. But be on the lookout. We have big matches coming up next weekend. We play Genoa, and then on the flip after that is the big derby. No, we play Como in the Coppa Italia, and then the Derby della Madonnina the week after on the 8th. So lots to play for. Forza Parma, let's hope we get that 10-point gap this evening and am able to move forward in the league. And then, if we got a 10-point gap at any point against Milan going into that derby and can open up to 13, the league's wrapped up. So Forza Inter, please like, subscribe, comment. Again, guys, got stickers. So if you want a Pazza podcast sticker, reach out. And that's going to do it. Thanks, guys. Forza Inter.